Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Just want to firstly thank those that have subscribed to the channel, and I really hope that the guys I'm putting out there does help someone out there. Corsair just released, and that enticed a few of my friends and guildies to go back into the game. So I wanted to focus on essential information that would help you get started, and also I want to keep the most known information short and expand on things that I don't normally see and discussed. So without further ado, let's start. So my first tip for beginners is keep track of new game information. So there's a lot of benefits to this, and one thing I recommend is go and get the Discord app so you could join the Black Desert Online official server. And once you get over there, you would be seeing the rules, so just like read through it so you don't get banned, and just make sure to acknowledge it in order for you to access the content of the server. The next most useful thing in this Discord is the Discord information. So this has the official website, and I've noticed that a couple of new players doesn't even know that that website exists, and also the Pearl Abyss support, wherein like if you have any issues in game, whether it be technical or you losing some items, then you could file a ticket and they would look it out for you. And the last thing on this one is the social medias that Pearl Abyss has. So for example, when they were showcasing the Idle Ball where you get the Jace Hammer and all of the good stuff, then you have to go to their Twitch, and also there's drops over there that gives you free stuff, and also at the YouTube. So for example, whenever a new class releases like Corsair, you will be able to see their like the previews in the console or in the PC. So do make sure to join their Twitch in order for you to keep updated, and also YouTube for previews. And then after that one, go to the community Discord and join the class that you are planning to play or plan to play in the future. And the good thing about this one, for example, like the Corsair Discord, is that there are some information for newer players on how to combo in PvE to make your grind more efficient, and also some PvP combos if you want to have a little idea of how to fight, and also in Battle Arena or Red Battlefield that you can try out. And also there are some chats over here that discusses the class, and for future updates, or sometimes whenever there's a new updates, it's a good place to see what are the thoughts and the ideas of the players that are maining that specific class. But just a side note too, that make sure to research on your own and try to play it out before putting this information in chat as 100%, as people have different play style, so try to find the one that works for you. So the next important thing on here is the announcements and the patch notes. For the announcement, this is the summarized version of all of the things that will be changing and has changed for BDO. For example, the recent season, you would see all of the events that you could do to get free stuff, and some of the codes that were released during partner streams is also over here, and you could also get mailed free stuff from here on too that would help your character or your seasonal character greatly. The next thing on our list is to get familiar with the BDO mechanics and terms. And the first one are the servers. So BDO operates in a single world that shares with players logged into the same server. Season server for seasonal players, no PvP and Tuvala enhancement materials. Tuvala gear is the gear for seasoned characters. Olvia server is for newer returning players that offers great buffs for leveling, life skill, and contribution points. Node conquest servers, this is where players fight for nodes in castle. Also forced PvP is over here once the node war starts and mobs disappear. PvP servers are the ones that have 50% additional item drop rate but has forced PvP. Elvia servers are the servers that have monsters from level 15 to 30 have been strengthened and requires at least 260 AP and 310 DP. Character selection is where you choose your character, which logs into a certain server that you've chosen. Standard is the character that you created that starts from level 1. Trial characters are the characters that you have created to start at level 60, but the problem is like they can't earn silver and they can only fight in Battle Arena, Red Battlefield. And beauty character creation is where you create your character. Skill points is used to unlock skills for your characters. Energy is gained by learning knowledge in the game and used for interaction and life skilling. Also can be converted to energy pots. Contribution points is used to rent nodes and purchase residences, and workshop for cooking, alchemy, furniture buffs, and more. Family-wide buffs are buffs that are applied to all of your characters passively, and also if you switch from character to character, they won't be disappearing. So character-bound buffs are the buffs that are only available for certain characters, like meals, and once you switch to another character, it's not going to be applied, but when you switch back to that character where you apply it, it's going to be there. So residences are your houses that you can decorate and put furniture in that could give you buffs and also help you craft materials. So for the workers, they're the one that helps you get some materials and crafts item for you depending on the workshop that you've assigned them. Or nodes. Farm is farming that can yield crops and dream horse materials, as well as generate moles that you could kill for additional enhancement materials. Pets are companions that give buff and has special abilities and picks up loots for you. Maids are the one that transfer your item from storage to marketplace if you are far from a storage keeper. Tents are pearl shop items that let you buy buffs and repair, but the problem is it's never given out free in the game. You have to buy it on actual pearl shop for real money. Fairy is another companion that has different skills, but most important one is the auto consumption of pots and also weight buff bonus. The level is the one that gives you your main stats and also allows you to hit higher level monsters, so you cannot grind as a level 2 character on a level 60 place because it's going to be so inefficient even if you have complete gear. HP is your life, 0 means you are dead. MP SPWP is your action points consumed by skills. Attack AP is your main attack point. Awakening AP is your main awakening attack point. And Succession versus Awakening is different skill sets for your character, but you can only select one. Defense DP is your main defense point. AP and DP brackets is the bonus you get depending on your sheet stats, and this is kind of the table that you could reference. I also linked it below. Silver is your main currency. Crow coins is the currency for C content to trade for C content related items. Pearls is real shop money for costume, for buffs and stuff like that. Loyalty is your daily login bonus that you can exchange for loyalty exchange items. For the characters, weight is the total amount of items you could carry, so each item has a weight and you can only carry a few percentage above your weight limit or else you're going to be slowed. Family fame is the extra daily money that is given out to you depending on your total combat, life, and special contribution, fames, and also it gives additional marketplace collection bonus. Karma is the point system for PvP where you can get penalized if you are negative. Naval fame is the same as karma but at sea. Tax is the one that is applied to your collections, so when you sell an item you collect, and that's the time that tax is collected. And life skills is money making methods in the game outside of PvP. PvE is anything related to combat outside of PvP. PvP is player versus player combat. Crowd control is attacks that disables you, that opens you up for additional combos. So BDO is mainly a fighting game and this is very essential. And protections are the skills that has protections from CC or damage. So the next ones are the accuracy, the rate in which you can hit your enemies, that is affected by evasion, which is the rate which you can avoid getting hit. And then the damage reduction, which is the rate which damage received is reduced. So those are affected by your current gear and crystals and items. And then there is the gear score, and you would hear this a lot, for streamers and other players too that you play. This is your highest attack plus your DP, and that is going to be your gear score. So if you have 300 attack points and that's your highest between the attack and the awakening, and then you have 350 DP, then your gear score is an effective 650. So the problem with this one is that there's a lot of items that can boost up your stats immensely, but it won't work because it combines evasion and damage reduction, which lowers the efficiency of the other stat. So buffs are applied via skills, gear, or items that gives you bonuses for a limited amount of time. So if you're life skilling and grinding for hours, then you should learn about this one, as it's very important to get those extra percentages in. Those are just some of the basic terms and mechanics in the game, because during events some new mechanics gets added in for updates. Some of those ones get revised, so keep a lookout on that one on the Discord and their announcement Also, whenever they have an patch note or an update, sometimes they do change the modifiers for certain skills and stats, and that totally, you know, affects everything in the game. So be on the lookout for those ones. So the last part of our guide is understanding the process behind progression and the thought process behind, you know, the reasoning for those steps. So one thing that you would know about BDO is that it offers you a lot of things to do, such as, you know, reaching certain AP brackets and DP brackets. Another is collecting mounts, you know, such as getting your T8 Courser and then turning it into a Pegasus, a Dine, or a Doom. And then there's also collecting, you know, the ships such as the Carracks or the, you know, like the Volante, Valor, Advance, and Balance. And also there are some artifacts such as the Infinite Potions and also the map and compass. So those things takes time from one another, and you cannot do it in, you know, just one setting. So for example, there are some players that have been grinding for the compass and the Infinite Potion for months now, and then there's also some players that are struggling to increase their AP. So we're gonna go and break down some of those process, and hopefully it would help you decide on what to do and invest time properly into your progression. So for this next section, I would kind of like summarize it in a way that would make more sense, because, you know, different people have different gear and different game states, and nothing really applies, you know, for a certain person unless you're the top one. Then you have, you know, lesser things to do because you already reached the max. So for beginning players, number one for AP progression is find the cheapest way to get to the next bracket. So let's say you are at 261 AP currently, and you have enough money to buy a Tri-Tonguelad necklace. So you could see that the jump from the duo to the tri is 25 AP. So like that might be one of your options. You're excited, oh, I'm gonna get an accessory, you know, that is a tri. But if you look into your awakening, and let's say for example you only have a tri Dandy, which is 106 AP, but the next AP increase for this gear at 1.9 billion is 8 AP, that is equivalent to 114. So as you can see with this one, you will be able to increase to 269, and with the necklace you're only able to go to 266, which means that at 266 you get 122 extra AP, but at 269 you get 137. So that's one thing to consider. You try and go to the marketplace and then really search out, you know, what would be your next upgrade, including the DP brackets. You could see also here that, you know, like there's varying stats for evasion and for DR, so you also look into that one. So the marketplace is a very nice, you know, way to find what you need and what you think would be the best path for you. So for the next part is how often do you do an activity. So for example, that, you know, when I first started out, like, you know, I really loved the PvP and also the monster grinding, but I also wanted the passive money that life skill offers. So what I did is I first tried to build up my gear, which is now at 296, which I'm very comfortable and happy with, and also 356 DP. And with the upcoming Kafra's buff, then, like, which means like the buff on drops, then it would be much easier for me to boost that up. And, you know, for the life scaling part, I really enjoyed, you know, farming and also borrowing. So I also went for the Carracks and, you know, build my farm as well as my worker empire, and I'm closing in on making all of my nodes into artisan workers with, you know, the optimal stats. So that's one thing to consider. So if you're not really into life scaling, there's no point for you to do so, other than, you know, the farming, which like really gives you a lot of, like, you know, money in the long run. And if you're not really into, you know, PvP, then there's no really point of you getting, you know, like pen gears and all. You could just concentrate on getting more of the Manos gear for life scaling. So for example, if you are you know, at a point where you have to choose between getting, let's say, a dandy, like a pen dandy at 15 billion, or you could choose to get an accessory, or for example like a necklace, like a Manos one, for 15 billion for the Tet Manos, or that one is out of stock. For example, like this one, the Tet Manos earring at 18 bill, then you could save up a little bit more and you would get more benefit off from this, because the more you do an activity, the more you gain from it. So that's one like the thing you have to consider most of the time before you consider progressing. And like for example, one of my friends that really wants to get the infinite potion, but all he does is farm and barter. So I was telling him that it's a good goal, and it's really up to you if you really want to do so, but in the long run, like cost opportunities and stuff considered, then it would really not do him any good, as like it doesn't have any purpose on his gameplay. But also, just a side note too, whatever goal you decide, BDO is an open world game and it's your game, so make sure that like you're doing what makes you happy. At the end of the day, like you're the one that is spending time on this one, not the other players. So this is going to be the last part of the video, and there's a lot of topics I wanted to discuss, but I think this is the most essential of all of them, and it's progressing depending on the event that is happening. So BDO is an event driven game, and events meaning the things that PA puts out, including their updates. So one example is the CAFRA's drop rate increase that's going to happen in the future at the time of this recording. And before that one was released, CAFRA's was reaching 2.923 million in price, and at one time even got sold out. And one of my friends who have heard the news about that one being a possibility held off on his enhancement. He only needs to reach C20 in order to reach the armor max stats to get to 700 gear score. And now that the CAFRA's has dropped to 2.5 million, he was able to complete that. I'm kind of proud of him too. So that's one thing too. And then another is for certain materials, for example the Blackstone armors and Blackstone weapons. So before the event for the Pen, Crescent, Tungrat, and Narc earring were released, Blackstone armors and weapons were costing about just 120 million. I mean like 120,000, and that was like super low. So like for me, because I enhanced a lot, I bought a ton of them, and now they're back to 190,000, even at one point got to 210, and I would even be able to make a profit off of that if I do decide to sell. So there are some instances that you can get lucky, but there are some instances where it gets announced in Global Lab. That's why you always have to check that one out in order to prepare and plan your upgrades accordingly, because you do not want to be spending most money on things that you already have and sold prematurely, like for example the black magic crystal involved in the pen upgrades. So that is one thing too that you have to keep an eye out. So in summary, all you have to do is just make sure that you're progressing at the cheapest path possible, and then making sure that your upgrades are aligned to the activities that you are doing and the activities that makes BDO fun for you. And the last thing is making sure you are prepared for the future updates by making sure that you're tuning into the news and patch notes for the global labs, as well as like partner information from Twitch partner streamers or YouTube partner streamers that do kind of show some information regarding future updates. So with that said, we'll be ending the video here, and I hope that this kind of helped a lot of newer players and intermediate players alike. And if you do have any questions or seen anything that the video can improve on, then please do leave a comment down below, and I would appreciate the likes and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.